So, another month has passed, and it's finally time for me to watch the newest Steph matter here. So, uh, it's 8:37, pretty damn late. This thing came out like 2 hours ago, but I'm pretty excited to see it. I've been looking forward to this one, especially compared to Denji versus Yuji and Bakugo versus Gracie. I think this one is going to be an absolute banger. I've seen just how wacky these guys' powers have gotten. And I've also already gotten spoiled on the next time. So I'm going to not go into that a bit too much when it's time for that. So, first things first, I think I'm just going to meet you guys after the analysis segments. No time wasted. Okay. I'm about to get into the fight now, and I don't really have a lot more to say. I kind of thought I'd be a bit more interested in the Sentry's story. I can't say I found myself too entranced, but I found it very fine. I think I was way more interested in Superboy's Prime story somehow, which I didn't actually expect because I've always heard Sentry be super duper hyped up, but I didn't really feel like an emotional connection with this character. But Superboy Prime, man, that was a pretty damn good analysis. Um, to with that out of the way, I want to say that both of them are visually the best looking of the entire season so far, and it's not even close. Death Battle is at its best when it does its comic stuff, really. The comic editing has always and probably will always be very top notch. So it was an absolute joy to watch in HD, and it looked absolutely fantastic all the way through. So, with that said, we finally get to watch the animation. Let's see how good that is. Now, maybe I'm just not a very big fan of Prime's character, even after how much I enjoyed it in the analysis section. But wow, did I find him super annoying all throughout. I think that kind of lessened my enjoyment in the fight, in fact. I have no idea why I was so ticked off by all of his lines. And I'm assuming he's exactly like that in the comics, which just makes me feel even worse about them. Regardless, yeah, it was a good animation. The every single scene with the void looked absolutely fantastic. I just kind of wish there was a bit more back and forth, but I don't know. It was a pretty decently long fight. Actually, no, that was like 3 minutes, right? No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. That was a decently long fight, to be fair. It felt super duper short, though, like a bite-sized episode. And what we got was pretty fantastic, but I always felt like there just needed to be a little bit more meat on the bone on this episode. Now, again, and that was pretty good. I think maybe I'm not being enthusiastic enough. I think this type of episode is the episode that I think will grow on me a bit more, you know, the further I go. I think by tomorrow I probably would have had a better opinion on it. I'm simply just not in a very good mood today, good headspace. The body pain, the costochondritis, all of that. It's hitting me, man. But I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of wish there was a little bit more there. I didn't really feel like the back and forth between them enough, and I'm a bit confused on how that century combination transformation happened. Maybe it's my fault for just not focusing, but that also felt a bit weird. But hey, at least this is the first ending in which the character actually canonically survived, I'm pretty sure. No, no, no. There was also the one against Danny Phantom. Oh yeah, Danny Phantom versus Jake Long. Yeah, Jake Long is just inside the fucking Fenton cooler, whatever they call it. I don't even like Danny Phantom. Either way, yeah, I thought that was fine and dandy. I think perhaps I'm not in a good enough headspace to give it the proper first impression that it deserves. But I think that was pretty good. I just don't really have a lot more to say about it. I think amongst everything, I'm not very attached to either of these characters, so I don't really have a lot more to say. Superboy Prime being this absolute freaking dog certainly didn't help either. But yeah, let's watch the post analysis now. Yeah, the end analysis checks out. Unfortunately, I still don't really have much to say over here either. Uh, and I think I have a possible reason for that. It probably has something to do with me reading blogs, When I see a matchup completely presented in like a prediction blog and stuff, um, I kind of now get the general gist of the characters a bit too much. It leaves way less time for, or way less opportunity rather, to actually keep up the guessing. You don't really feel like it's this or that because the G1 blogs have become more and more accurate by the day. This isn't to say that they should stop doing this whatsoever. I'm absolutely not implying that. This is probably to say that maybe I might stop reading them, I guess, because when I do make my own educated guesses, I kind of um get reassured by them, so to say, and I think part of the fun in a death battle, especially one that is as debatable as Superboy Prime versus Sentry, is not knowing, in a way, it's devoid. That uncertainty at the back of your mind, I think that adds tenfold to your watching experience. If I knew a bit less about these characters, I think I would have enjoyed this a whole lot more. That said, an analysis was good. It pretty much, yeah, it was just the G1 blog. Um, so I have not a single fault with that whatsoever. Literally zero. Uh, I know the next time already. I think I'll just play.
Superboy Pro. Oh, hey, my pizza's here.
The winner is Superboy Prime. Letter to the editors. Oh yeah, I win. That's right. You hack frauds really tried to lowball me, but I checked the clock and it's prime time, baby. Now, personally, that intelligence section was such a gimme. I don't crash out. I'm a tragic hero grappling with real, intense emotion. I can be smart anytime I want. But anyway, don't subscribe, don't join as a member, don't watch Death Battle, read my comics. Prime out.
Next time on Death Battle.
First of all, I didn't actually see that in analysis thing coming for Superboy Prime. Of course, I still didn't find it very funny because, Superboy Prime. But hey, that was pretty welcome. That's a very nice, tiny little addition. I think I'm going to definitely rewatch this episode a whole lot more. I think it has a lot of rewatch value. And I definitely think that I'm going to enjoy it more as I go on. Unlike the inverse that happened with Goo versus Megamind, I think I'm going to enjoy this the longer time goes. And versus Traveler. My goodness, have I been looking forward to this episode. Genshin Impact is unironically one of my favorite games. I'm sure you can tell by how ugly I look, but I really do love Genshin Impact. I've played it for multiple years now. I've only gotten as far as Fontaine because, I have a life and I actually like doing stuff in real life. So, I haven't had time to power through the game as much as I wanted to. I think maybe this dev battle gives me an excuse to actually start doing that. Maybe I'll get back into Genshin a bit more. The reason that I've mostly avoided the game is due to the power creep. And I'm sure you know how I feel about Avatar The Last Airbender. I made a video on it 3 years ago. You can probably find it in the description of this one. While it's very dated and probably very cringy, I doubt my opinions about the show have changed that much. It's a very strong 8 out of 10 that ha- I, I can definitely say I enjoyed, to say the least. I'm glad I'm going into this one knowing very much about both of these characters. And of course, I'm going to be rooting and betting the Traveler all the way. Genshin Impact to the top. Come on. Yeah, yeah, 10-minute video. That was solid. Yeah. Um, I don't have any future plans because life gets busy, guys. But if I do upload the video, no one will watch it anyway. So, and that's fine. So, with all of that said, looking very, very forward to my most anticipated Kickstarter matchup. Very forward to seeing Traveler get analyzed on Death Battle. And Superboy Prime versus Sentry was really good. I think I'm going to give that one an 8 out of 10. I do think, and not to sound like a broken record, it has the opportunity to rise the further I go. Yeah, we'll end off here. Bye.